Lever. A lever is a bar that rotates on a fixed point. A rigid bar pivoted on a fixed point and used to lift or move loads. There are three classes of lever. Man has used lever for thousands of years to make his work easier. A lever allows us to use minimal force to do work. Okay, a lever is a rigid rod capable of rotating about a fixed point called fulcrum. Levers are classified into three kinds of the basis position of effort, load, and fulcrum. To understand the meaning of effort, load, and fulcrum, let us view an example of a boy moving a boulder uses a crowbar. The force that applies on a crowbar is called the effort, and the weight, in this case, the boulder is being pushed, is called the load. The point at which the crowbar is pivoted is called the fulcrum. Now let us understand the different type of lever based on the relative position of the load, fulcrum, and effort. Class 1 lever, the fulcrum is in between the load and the effort. A crowbar, a pair of scissors, and a claw hammer are examples of first-class levers.
These scissors are examples of class 1 levers because there's the force exerted by the fingers on the left, the fulcrum in the center, which is the pivotal part, and the load being lifted to the right. This chip clip is a similar example where the force is exerted by the fingers on the left, the fulcrum is in the center, and the load is lifted to the right. Here we have a third example of a class 1 lever. This is a playground seesaw, and on the left you have the load being lifted. In the center is the fulcrum, which is the pivotal point, and on the right we have the girl pushing downward on the force to lift the load, which in this case is a little boy opposite from her. Now we'll take a look.
Okay, now this is class 2 levers. The load is located in the middle of effort and fulcrum, and we have bottle opener and wheelbarrow as the example here.
The fulcrum is at one end. The load, in this case, the cap, is set in the center, and the effort is applied at the other end. A stapler is an example of a second-class lever too.
Let's look at class 3
the
levers,
effort is in
where
between
the
the
effort
fulcrum
is in the
and the
middle
load.
between the load and
The human
fulcrum.
forearm
As
and
you can see
tongs
here,
used
the
to lift
forearm
loads
and
belong to class
the
3.
ice tong are the example.
Tweezers are examples of class 3 levers because the force is applied between the load and the fulcrum. This stapler is also an example of a class 3 lever because, as you can see, a force is applied in the center of the stapler to push the load downwards. Now that you've seen a few real
A baseball bat is an example of a third-class lever. The fulcrum is at one end, the batter's wrists, and the load, the baseball, is set at the other end. The effort is applied in the middle. Tweezers are also an example of a third-class lever. The fulcrum is at one end, and the effort is applied to the middle. Levers are simple machines. They are tools that make it easier to lift or move objects. Now that you better understand levers, think about this. What parts of your body are levers? Think about it.